are, guys. This is the final of the Venetta's finest first Flash tournament. So, to everyone who's played in it, I hope you enjoyed it to some degree. And I would just like to personally say sorry that it was pretty dysfunctional, and also there were definitely some organisational issues. I wasn't kind of expecting about 12 people to jump on in at 6 o'clock. So I had to redo the brackets, and then it just kind of snowballed a bit, and I couldn't keep the brackets up to date. But good thing is, I have a philosophy that from bad things comes good, and I definitely learnt for next time that and how to run this thing smoothly. So we're down to our last two uh, players here. We're down to RTK Majustsu and Hannabalisms. I call them Hannabalisms, just deal with them. Anyway, so we're going to have a Dutch versus German match here. Should be pretty nice. And yeah, I mean, regarding my own match with Majutsu, one hell of a player. Just completely out cav microed me and just took me apart bit by bit. And I'm just going to ask what the map is. It is Kansai Woods. Because obviously these maps need to be balanced in some sort of way, kind of having those key buildings in the center of the map, kind of forcing an engagement out. And I also like the fact that he brought fire rockets. That was a sneaky move. Nice way to shimmy around those rules. I'm definitely gonna have to add those in the rulebook next time. And I did like that. That was good. It was good sneaky thinking. But great player though. I didn't play right. I should have just straight out bum rushed. As I did have, a bum rush army, but it was that long Yari which really scared me for some reason, just with the 19 defense, and the Yari wall always puts me off. No, the erection just goes flaccid after a while. As soon as I see that thing, I've got no dachi. So, great game. I'll be analysing that later on, and it has been good. I've been watching some of these matches as well, and it's actually been very, very, very good. Looks like Achilles has just wanted to talk to me here. Sup. They're asking for map. Yeah, I told them what the map was. It's Kansai Wood. In the chat. I'll say it again. There we go. But they don't believe me. Oh god. Believe in Achilles. He may be a douche, but he believe. Believe in Achilles. Das little Belgian boy, yeah? I can't play Bojan here. Can we push off Forest? Interesting. Hopefully that's going to throw people off their game a little bit. I'm hoping. But these two, I've actually played, first time I played against Majutsu. That's the first time tonight. Very, very good player. As I said, his micro is intense, and I would definitely recommend anybody going over to his Twitch channel and actually watching him as he plays live. Go on those past broadcasts, and they are insane. I'll put that down a link below, and also to his own YouTube channel as well. The guy is clicking continuously. I mean, if we were talking in a sort of StarCraft 2 kind of actions per minute, he would be off the chain. He is up there, very much so, and just completely outdo me from one end of the field to the other with that cav, and just great. And Hannibalisms, I call him Hannibalisms. I played against him, I think a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. Again, very, very solid, very, very, very good player. And I'm pretty sure I lost pretty hard to him. Can't even remember. But what I love about hosting this, even though it hasn't been perfect, and I fully admit that I've done a pretty shabby job at kind of organising this and hosting it. As I said, lessons are learned, but also doing this is actually going to improve my game as well, which is one thing which I'm definitely keen to move off the mark of. And hopefully, if I do, host some more of these, I'll definitely try and improve my game as well, along with the hosting. I probably won't actually play whilst I host again, because that was pretty difficult. But I mean, it's one of those things which takes practice, I suppose. So I'm not entirely sure what these guys are actually going to be bringing here. It will be pretty interesting. I like the fact that we can't actually see what they're bringing to begin with. Yo, really, what a name. I love that. But this should be a good match. I'm definitely pumped for this. And it's always interesting seeing these more high competitive gameplays because just shit goes down every single time, and I don't get to commentate them very often as well. So it can even pull out things which perhaps I have never really seen before. Um, but it can also just it makes it more interesting basically. You don't want to be sat there watching a game where nothing much is really happening. There's no forced engagements, there's no really high reward high risk sort of strategies being played. um, those can get pretty boring, but that's what I love about this style. I mean, you can see Majutsu against I think it was, oh damn it, I think it was Stralifier. I can't remember now, I've forgotten his name already. Here we go. We got this. Stellarfire. Yeah, there you go, Stellarfire. Just watching him micro his cav round in tiny little gaps was great to see. And again, it's that high risk, high reward. Adalar, when he's playing against Hannabalisms, taking his Yari straight into the matchlock units and just absolutely wrecking Hannibalism's, matchlocks. But of course, he had to stay committed. Otherwise, he would have risked actually losing a lot more than just a Yarikav unit. So it's nice to see units going straight in. All right, so looks like Majutsu's ready. Looks like Hannibalism's ready. So it looks like they may not be liking the map, but that's a good thing in my opinion. It means that they're really going to have to fight hard, and it means that they're really going to have to try and stretch out some of these strats. So it'd be boring if the game was easy. It'd be boring if we had a normal map, and having these woods in the center and the fact that they are on a slight hill, this should be interesting to say the least. So we're going to be playing on Kansai Woods. We've got RTK Majutsu and VMS Hannibalisms. That's how I call them, Hannibalisms. So as I said, this should be good, and it's also great to see Shogun 2. I actually think making a reappearance in tournaments as well. I didn't actually see too many tournaments. I could be mistaken, but personally I didn't see too many going on, and I kind of like the idea that people are going off from Rome 2 multiplayer, moving more to Shogun 2. I feel though more people have been doing that. Okay, good luck, have fun, and I'll also say meow. So let's go look at what Hannibalism's. Oh no, sorry, this is Majutsu. See what Majutsu decided to bring. So he's got a lot of cav. He's got a Yari cav, Katana cav. Oh, Katana cav. Never really seen those much going on. So I think that's 2 Yari cav, 3 Yari cav. Yep, 3 Yari cav it looks like. Katana cav, light cav, and another light cav. He's got, I think that's Wacko Raider, which it is. He's got Matchlock Warrior Monks with that 150 range ability, because they've already maxed up to 125, and we've also got those Naginata attendants. For the main of his army, he's decided to go for some Yari Samurai. Yari Samurai, both at 16 defense, so definitely not maxing those guys out. Some more Yari Samurai, so 3 of those guys. Some Bulletproof Samurai, which is something I approve of. 14 morale, 23 defense, 12 attack, that's one to look out for. And some Yari Ashigaru to go with that. These guys are veteran. They're only 2 veteran. I think he played these guys against me in these. I was pretty scared to go against them, but that's only because I saw the long Yari Ashigaru and I didn't realise that these Yari Ashigaru were 2 chevrons. I didn't actually realise that. His general is pretty insane. He's got some melee stats, but he's also decided to go for more of a leadership general with that last stand, inspire, and rally, totaling with 26 melee attack and 18 defense. But over on this side though, he decided to bring some Matchlock Ashigaru, and he's also got some Naginata attendants as well. So a pretty interesting army. Not much in terms of an infantry build, so it'll be interesting to see how Hannibalisms actually does cope with that. Although this is a very cav heavy game with that 3 Yari cav, which to be honest I would never even dream of bringing, because I'm just too much of a pussy. I'll put it out there, I'm too much of a pussy. So he's only got 1 light cav as well, which is another interesting choice, and he's got a Katana cav with 26 melee attack. So as I said, this is pretty interesting. Sorry, he's got 3 light cav. So yeah, very cav heavy build. Doesn't look like he's got any fire cav either, so it should be pretty interesting. Bulletproofs. And of course we're going to be fighting over the Sword Dojo and the Workshop. So both of these are going to be very, very critical, I think, to this game. Hannibalism saying that he hates this map. Looks like he's going to do a straight rush over for the Workshop. He also has got Wacko Raiders, but they are on the high ground, forcing Matju to retreat there with his own Wacko Raiders. He has got 20 attack on those Matju Raiders. Matju Raiders? What? Wacko Raiders. God, I can't even speak. So he's got 20 attack on those compared to Hannibalism's 22. Although I think the melee defense, he has got 1 more defense and he has got more charge bone. He's going to call in some Yarikav to help that out a little bit. So we've got two massive waves of cavalry here going in for that kill, really trying to save each other's Whacker Raiders. Matchew's going to split up with his Yarikav, try and undercut Hannabalisms. Hannabalisms are going to be retreating that light cav, which is a good move, and Matchew's also got his light cav, although I think that was a slight micro error there. I think his guy's just stopped. However, Hannabalisms is going to get his Yarikav on the down charge, and Matchew's going to pull his army away, and he's going to be sacrificing that Wacko Raider. And it looks like Matchew's going to pull out, and he's going to pull straight back in again, try and get those Yarikav, and he has managed to rout that light cav. So now Hannabalism's one Yarikav is now on the disadvantage there, losing a bit of morale, but now they are getting a bit more up, and he's just going to chase off that light cav with his own light cav, although he's going to go for it now. This is actually pretty interesting stuff. He's going to get trapped by that Yari Samurai. I'm not sure if that's the best move, but hey, I only got to the second round of this game, and it looks like it's pretty even at the moment. Those Wacko Raiders, among all of it, are still going, and in the back line there, Matthew is managed. He's going to get a lovely charge off here by the Lone Sword. 19 melee attack. He does not want to go for that. So Katana Samurai 22. He's gone for a very, very heavy katana-based army, his Hannibalisms, and really his army is just getting wrecked here by these cavalry units. Matthew committing another one there, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to pull much off here, as these light cav are going to be causing chaos in the back lines of Hannibalisms, and also these Whacker Raiders are still going, surprisingly enough, and they eventually do break. It looks like Hannibalism's general seems to just go straight off there and to stand and fight. Is an interesting choice. He's got no backup, so I mean, if although he has got these fire cav here, which is pretty cool, and these matchlocks now going to get fire off, although they are now vulnerable on this flank, and you know, Matchew's got this sword dojo. He's going to pull his light cav over, and also the rest of his army is now swinging it into the back here, and really, when you think about it, I mean, Matchew's army is actually perfect for going against Hannibalisms. Hannibalisms has brought a very, very heavy, you know, Katana Samurai units and Lone Sword units. I mean, if Matchew can actually keep hold of that Katana unit, which I think he actually hasn't done. Yeah, Katana Cavalry is still 60 health, so I mean, he could easily go in and wipe one of these units out with a nice back charge, and looks like Hannibalism's there is going to get an uphill light cav charge onto Matt Jutes's light cavalry. Is going to pull that away. Good micro there, and they're going to commit some units into the centre field, although it is 3v1, so and that is against Naginata Tenant, so this is not really a position that Hannibalismus wants to really be in. Also, these Katana units are beginning to make a move. All of these units are just here for the taking. There's no spear units protecting. He really needs to get one of these bulletproofs back and protect, or one of these units here, Naginata Tenants, that would even do. But the good news is, though, Hannibalismus has got an uphill advantage. His units are surrounding, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult for Matt Juice to actually make a move with that Katana Cavalry uphill. And positioning these Warrior Monks strategically would actually do a lot of good for Hannibalisms there. And he's going to be charging his light cav down, possibly into these matchup Warrior Monks, which I assume is what he's going to do. That would be a great move. And now his Katana Samurai are going to make a move all the way down the hill. Bearing in mind that Matthew has still got that sword dojo, so he has actually been buffed up by, I think, about 4 melee attack for all units, which won't be great. And his general bodyguard there, 28 attack, and it looks like we're beginning to form up for a square off. But Hannibalisms need to make sure that he doesn't actually give away this workshop, otherwise he'll be in a great disadvantage. And he also needs to take back his general as well, because his general is a bit lonesome there. He has got that Naginata Tenant, however, although I would not count on just that defending his general. He's going to pull in his Naginata Warrior Monks. Not Naginata Warrior Monks, Matchlock Warrior Monks, that's what we're talking about. It'd be great if he could try and get his general here. We can see here by the fires of arcs. He probably could take that out. But, of course, a bit of micro there going off by Majustsu. And also he's beginning to get this downhill advantage, which really Hannibalismus is not wanting. He's kind of playing about here on the low ground. He really needs to just flat out bum rush the rest of Majutsu's army, because as I was saying before, he hasn't got much of an infantry component. He really, really needs this sword units to actually go in and wreck, and they're both here trying to clamber up to the high ground to try and get that high ground advantage. Although Hannibalism's army is not doing too badly, Majutsu's real aim or real benefit in this matchup was that his cavalry was very, very heavy, but it looks like Hannibalismus managed to take out the majority of his cavalry, but at the same time he's managed to keep a lot of his heavy units. Although, to be fair to Matthew, he has still got those Matchlock Ashigaru, and he has still got those Matchlock Warrior Monks, so there's only 5 men left, and it looks like a kind of general battle might could go off here. Oh, wait. No, go for the general. You can have this. Oh, no. Oh, unless he's going to go for the Matchlock Warrior Monks. because now Matchu is now going to get a charge off here, and Hannabalismus is going to see that. Charging into the back of these samurai might do some good. That will really throw Majutsu's general off his game, as he's going to be overwhelmed with so many units, which is actually very, very good if your general is overpowered and they haven't actually got a bonus versus spears. Although these guys have not got a bonus versus spears, they're not resistant, so pulling in these spears would be a very, very good move if Hannibalism did do that. And it looks like the high ground is now going to be contested, and Majutsu really does not want to be in this position. Lone Sword Ashigaru charging down against Bulletproofs is going to be pulling back there, and Hannibalism has got his Katana Samurai there just chasing downhill, trying to throw these guys off their game, which is good because at the moment Majutsu's army is very, very spread out. Same with Hannibalism's, but I think Majutsu is probably a little bit more kind of vulnerable in this situation. He's kind of on the downhill. Although saying that, these Lone Swords, I'm not sure how they do against these Bulletproofs. These guys will probably lose against Bulletproofs up a straight up fight, so they really need to retain that high altitude advantage there. And here we go. Majutsu's Naginata Tenants there, I think, just getting routed. And looks like we're going to be moving into the forest now. And Hannibalism's, even though he said he hated this map, he's actually doing pretty darn good. He's managed to make Majutsu on the run, which is something which I would definitely aspire to in my Shogun 2 career. So he really should probably commit a unit back here to capture this workshop. That might be useful, maybe sending off his general to go capture the sword dojo. Although, of course, I mean, Majutsu's general wouldn't do too much, but to be honest, I think this game is kind of in the closing stages, and both armies are kind of looking a little bit beaten up, although I'd say Majutsu is definitely in the worse off position here. He's going to get charged here by the Lone Sword Ashigaru. The charge really was not the best, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on here. Then I'm going to get a matchlock volley. Hannibalism needs to make sure he keeps his general nearby, bust up those Lone Sword Ashigaru, and pretty much just make sure that they don't break. As you can see there, their morale is getting very, very low. These Lone Sword Ashigaru also need to charge in, probably protect against these Yari Samurai coming in, and these Naginata Tenants are far behind. I'm not really sure what he probably could do with them. He's going to be charging on with these Matchlock Warrior Monks. Can't even talk today. He probably should commit one unit to charge in the back here. I think that's what he's trying to do here with his Bulletproofs, his own Bulletproofs in fact. Actually only with 18 defense compared to Majutsu's 23. Although this unit over here with Matsu is breaking, the Yari Ashigaru, the 2 Chef, the one that I was absolutely afraid of, has now broken to this Katana Samurai, and it looks like Hannibalism has really only got 2 choices here. You can either keep on charging these Matchlock Warrior Monks and Matchlock units, eventually trapping them against the red line and they're just going to get butchered, or you can turn his units back round and try and hit these units here, which are actually causing him a lot of pain here in the midfield, and he's trying to keep up with his Matchlock Warrior Monks, and it looks like Majutsu's general's just died there, and that could be the deciding moment. I can't say I'm talking here, and I think these Matchlock Warrior Monks are pretty much trapped here. Same with these Matchlock Ashigaru. They won't be able to kite because they have got 2 units, and it looks like Majutsu may have just thrown in the towel. I'm not entirely sure there, but it definitely looks like Hannibalism may have won this match, and they're in there, hold firm there. There's something I definitely need to get on my Bulletproofs, and it looks like this has been a very, very good match. Very, 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 very difficult, I'd have to say, to kind of point out what's going on. Actually very, very high tempo, but I mean these units I think have lost. I mean Hannibalism's doing the correct thing. He's splitting up his units, so if these Matchlocks run that way, they're going to get caught by the Naginata Tenants. If they run this way, they're going to get mauled by the Katana Samurai. So there's not really much he can do there, and these Yari Samurai won't be able to put up to many units. So I'll put in the GG. Well played, everyone. It was a very, very good match. Thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and it was very, very interesting to see again that high risk, high reward. Definitely these guys have got more balls than I have. I mean, some of the gutsy moves that they've been playing, I definitely could not pull off myself. And it's kind of interesting that they've Majutsu actually managed to deploy in his own deployment zone. He managed to finish off in Hannibalism's deployment zone, so it's not very often I get to see that in a match. And yeah, very good match. GG to both players, and it was a pleasure to commentate. I would love to do some more of these more competitive style matches. Very, very interesting. Even see some different styles from which I probably wouldn't even do. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And GG. So, hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. I'll do a quick breakdown, and then I think I'll probably end up uploading this, and I'll also do the analysis of my battle with Majutsu. Hopefully Hannibalism's did save all of his replays from his victories. I'm hoping he did, because if he did, I could be able to make that cinematic for him as his prize for winning this. And as I said before, now that I've done this with more high tempo players, the next time I host a tournament, it'll be far better. I think probably the next one I'll do will be another traditional, and then I might fall into a Fall of the Samurai after that for my third one. So let's go for the breakdown. It's nice to see. I wish this was me. I know it's not, but it would feel good. It would feel good, not going to deny it. So they're both brang pretty much the same amount of units. It was interesting to see. Only about 30 men apiece there. And Hannabalism's lost about 300 less men. Let's go to unit stats. So it looks like the Invincible Katana Samurai did very, very well. I personally thought Katana Samurai were not much of a viable option anymore. I'd like to go back into the replay and see whether they actually had something like a Banzai, or really look at those stats and criticize what they kind of had. Because I personally have got a lot of Katana Samurai, and I never feel, although I'm going to field them unless they've got Banzai, because I think Banzai is just such a worthwhile unit to get. And for anyone just starting off, try and unlock the Nodachis, because the Banzai is extremely powerful. Looks like the Yari Samurai getting in 134 kills there. The Lone Sword's doing pretty nicely, 121 kills. I think they were the guys who managed to maul up the Majustsu Bulletproof Samurai. Again, some more Invincible Katana Samurai, 105 kills. Good to see units getting over 100 kills here. Also, the Waka Raiders. Interesting engagement with the Waka Raiders. I think Hannabalism's Waka Raiders actually did lose there. It was very, very close. He did have the downhill advantage. However, I think Majutsu's Waka Raiders did have that, I think, 8 more charge, and they did have about 2 or 3 more melee defense. So it was an interesting fight there, and I loved how they both immediately rushed. They both put their Waka Raiders roughly in the same place. Majutsu probably not put them in the best position. That may have cost him the game, because he did have to overcommit his cavalry a little bit too much, and he did play a very cavalry-heavy game. And perhaps if he put those the Waka Raiders a little bit higher up, he probably wouldn't have had to retreat initially, and then he could have injected a few less cavalry units as well to that hill, and probably lost a few less as well. However, I think having his army spread out a bit more may have been a bit more of a downside as well, as he did do a massive sweeping flank on Hannibalism right around the rear, and I think probably not having all of his units in that same position fighting Hannibalisms down there at the workshop, I think that could have been a factor in why Majutsu might have lost there as well, because as I was saying earlier with the match build-up, his army composition seemed quite weak on the infantry. That's what I kind of drew from it anyway. So perhaps if his infantry stuck together a bit more, he probably could have come out a little bit better. But again, I lost in second round, so I'm criticizing somebody who who actually beat me pretty darn good and pretty darn well. So again, up for interpretation, and a traditional 4 light cav there with, I think, 1, 2, 3 heavy cav. So it's interesting to see 3 heavy cav rather than 2, which is generally what I tend to bring. Again, is Bulletproof's raking in some kills, but again, not as many units getting as 100 kills there. Matchlock Warrior Monk's raking in 100. If you can get that on average with the Matchlock unit, that's pretty darn good going. You're definitely getting your money's worth. And I think really his 150 range Matchlock units weren't that effective. Having a 150 range unit on this sort of a map probably isn't the best choice. Because there's a lot of terrain such as trees and hills and whatnot. However, for breaking a stalemate and getting that initiation straight from the off, it can be a very, very worthwhile thing to get. The Waka Raiders there getting 98 kills. We discussed them earlier. They did manage to beat off the enemy Waka Raiders only by about 20 men, so there wasn't really too much of an exchange there. Although that was a good initiation that really forced both players out of their comfort zone, and they really had to try and charge to save the Waka Raiders. Even though both Waka Raiders got destroyed completely, pretty much, Hannibalisms came out on top, very literally, at the higher altitude on top of that hill, and I think that really dissuaded Majutsu from actually getting anywhere in terms of around that workshop. And it really forced him around the sides and kind of broke his army up as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Very, very, very interesting to watch. Please comment down below if you enjoyed this commentary. I would love to do some more of these. They get me pretty worked up, guys. They get me worked up. So it was very, very interesting. Good to watch. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the tournament. And I'll see you guys next time.